What's up, everybody? We're outside the market in Guangzhou Railway Station. About a 4 or 5 mile radius from where I'm standing right now. You can find factories, markets, and workshops for just about every consumer good under the sun. This right here is where I got my education. 2 years of business school doesn't hold a candle to everything that I learned right here. Speaking Chinese, learning how to deal with the factories, learning about logistics, how things are made, it all goes down right here. Check it out.
Hi guys, this is Mike from Source Find Asia. Welcome. Coming to you again with another episode of On the Factory Floor. This time we're not going to be in a factory per se, but we're going to check out the markets in Guangzhou. We've never been there, it's quite an experience. In my opinion, Guangzhou has some of the best consumer product markets in all the world. So the markets are gigantic and there's an endless amount of vendors. If you don't know who you're looking for, and you don't know how to maneuver the area, it can really be a daunting task to take it all in. So I highly recommend, as with everything in China, to be as prepared as possible prior to arriving at the markets. What I always try to say to people is try to bring physical samples. If you don't have an exact physical sample of what you're looking for, you want to bring samples of certain parts of that product. So let's say you have a backpack, you can bring 3 different backpacks to show these places what you're trying to achieve with your final product. One of them shows the zipper and hardware qualities. One of them maybe shows the interior quality and the stitching. And then the other one has the exterior, be it leather or PU outside. So I think that's a really important thing when you're dealing with these markets. It's a fast-moving, busy place. There's tons of stuff going on. They have a lot of different things to worry about. So visuals as well as being prepared with notes, photos is really important when you're hitting the market because you really want to maximize your time, in the limited amount of interaction that you have with each vendor, and really mark down, if you like their stuff and you like what they're saying to you, mark down who they are, what they have, and how to reach them. And that's really the most important point I want to emphasize, is that the majority of your communication with these people is actually going to happen after you leave the market. You don't need to sign your life away on a deal on the spot. Just a good touch base, a research point, and then after you leave the market, you're going to have time to communicate with them via email or WeChat. That's the way to go. Okay, so as you can see here, I'm meeting with a factory rep who works at a bag shop in the Guangzhou Railway Station market. So I've been designing my own stuff as well as buying their stock products for the last few years. I really like working with these guys. And on this trip, I just wanted to show face. So here I'm just explaining some of the ideas I had to improve the current bag that I'm ordering, and also take a look at some of their new styles. And I always make sure that I'm taking detailed notes on whatever we discuss, because I'm always going to be following up with them later that evening or potentially the next day. They make high quality stuff. You can see they have lots of bags, satchels, wallets. This is really their area of expertise. And the thing I really like about these guys is they really only work with a couple of materials. So they're a little bit limited, but they're really focused on the style of bags that they're making. So I love these guys, they're great. I've been working with them for probably 5 or 6 years. And they're also quite good because the people that you see here in this shop, they're actually working for the factory. So a lot of the shops here in Guangzhou, they say they're working for a factory, but they actually just are cooperating with some local bag makers. That's okay, no problem. You can still accomplish things with vendors like that, small orders and stock orders on the spot. But when you're making your own products and you want to fully control production quality and time is a necessity, that's not going to work in my opinion. So I always try to work with people like this who are actually, as well as being a vendor in the shop, they're also on the factory floor. So some tips, some ideas, because you're going to say, hey, Mike, how do I know? Because you might ask them and say, yeah, of course, we're working for the factory. Some tips to know if a shop worker is a factory employee or just a sales agent is to see how they respond to your inquiries. So someone who works for the factory is more likely to try to understand your needs. They're going to ask more specific questions about the design, about the quality. You know, if they notice an issue about the design, they're going to explain that to you. The reason why I think that is just because they're more invested in the product and they're more invested in the quality of the goods that are coming out of their factory versus a shop worker who's just asking you about your order quantity. He immediately breaks out the calculator. I'm not saying you can't accomplish something with a vendor who does that, but that's just a good sign for me that that vendor is just a sales agent trying to get the most money they can out of each person that comes to that shop at that specific time. They're not as worried about future business. So those are some things I look for to know who's an agent and who's an actual factory employee. Okay, so after stopping at the leather bag shop and visiting some of my other suppliers, me and my guys, we went to search for some cool new styles of sunglasses. The aim was twofold in this. So first, we were attempting to get some cool glasses for Obot. We were doing a photo shoot there in Guangzhou. And we also wanted to locate some potential suppliers for an SFA client. So at the market near the Guangzhou Railway station, there are a large number of shops that offer sunglasses. We went to a number of these shops to test quality, get some pricing, and some production time references as well. Here's an old trick I used when manufacturing for a watch client back in 2012. Basically, if you're hitting these markets, you're coming across dozens and dozens of vendors who offer the same or similar products. So if you're asking the same questions to a dozen different shops, you're going to start to learn the truth about those products. So how much does this cost? What is the material? Hey, what's the MOQ for this product? Can we put our logo on these at that MOQ? What quantity can we start to receive a price break? What is production time? So these are some ideal questions that you're going to ask anyway. Use these answers that you get from the previous shops to aid you in your conversation when you reach the shop that you're at. Does that make sense? So for example, instead of asking what the MOQ is, you can say, hey, most of these factories I've been talking to, they require 50 pieces MOQ. Is that also the case with your factory? Rather than just a, hey, what's the price of this? Hey, so, for bags like this, I usually pay between 300 and 350 RMB. What are you guys charging for this? And I've learned that after 10 years in these markets, that the more you know about a product going into these conversations, the more honest the vendors are going to be and the more serious they're going to take your inquiries. All right, guys, that's it. That's my tour of the Guangzhou markets. Hope you found something interesting out of it. I'll be hitting the markets multiple times in the near future. So if you guys want to see anything else, get a little different aspect from the market, just let us know in the comments. We'd really appreciate it. And yeah, if you're an entrepreneur and you want to dip your feet into the physical product game, I always recommend people see the Guangzhou markets. It's a great first step to get ideas, to kind of learn the beat in China, learn how to communicate with factories, kind of see what's available and what's out there, get a gauge of pricing and production time. It's a great one-stop shop to get the ball rolling for production needs. It's a place of non-stop hustle. That's why I love it. It's how I got my education in China. It's where I learned to speak Chinese, where I learned how to deal with Chinese people, how to think on my feet. I love it. I love it. It's one of my favorite places to be in the entire world. It can be an intense experience, that is for sure. Sometimes it's stressful, but I think if you go through it, no doubt, come out with some knowledge gained and you'll be more motivated towards your goals. I think you're going to have a great deal of new suppliers and product ideas after finally, if anyone's planning on heading to the markets, want to get some more ideas, just contact us. Let us know what you're going for, what you're trying to accomplish, and maybe we can help you out in that way. We are always happy to provide you with some recommendations, or who knows, we can set up a personalized tour of the specific markets around the railway station and Saint-Merli and all these interesting spots in Guangzhou. So thanks guys, appreciate it. As always, you can find us at Source Find Asia. All of our service and links to the videos and podcasts are there. So thank you so much guys, and we'll see you next time. Peace.